So an introduction to averages and their application. Okay, a very grand title to something that's fairly simple. We have three types of average. We have the mean, the median and the mode. Now most people are very aware of the mean average. If we talk about the average weekly wage or the average height or the average distance, then all we're doing is we're adding up the numbers and then dividing by the number of numbers. Now this isn't always useful for us, and I'll try and explain why. First off, when we get our information, we generally call it data. Okay, and data will come in two forms. Okay, we have what we call continuous and we have discrete. Okay, now some of you won't need to worry too much about this, but it's quite important that some of you level 2 and GCSE know this. So our data can come in two forms. Okay, it can come as discrete data or continuous data. Okay, now continuous data is generally countable or measurable. Not sure if I've spelled measurable right, but I'm a maths teacher, so I'm allowed. So it's countable or measurable. This means that it can be chopped up into smaller parts. So if we're talking about time, we can have years, months, weeks, days, hours, minutes, seconds. So we can keep going down with that. Okay, distance, we can have 1.316 of a meter. So this is continuous data. Okay, now discrete data is the opposite. Okay, which means it cannot be divided up. Okay, so if we're talking about, for example, people, you cannot have 1.613 of a person. Okay, there might be times in your life where you might want to have 1.613 of a person, but you can't have it. Okay, we can't have, for example, 2.4 children, one of the most common averages used. So 2.4 children is a nonsense because we can't have 0.4 of a child. And this is a very good example of using the wrong average with the wrong data. Okay, so generally the mean is used for continuous. Okay, the median can be used for both, and the mode can be used for both. Now it depends on how you want your information to come across as to which average you use. Now if I just give you an example of this, let's say there's a small firm of people. Okay, so there's 5 people that work for this firm. And this is their weekly wage. Okay, so I know it's not very realistic, but it'll give you a good idea. So these 4 people are on £500 a week, and this person is on £4,000 a week. Now if we were to work out the average weekly wage, then we would add these up and then divide by 5 because we have 5 people. Okay, so 4,000 plus another 1,000 plus another 1,000 gives us 6,000. 6,000 divided by 5 gives us 1,200. Okay, now that would be the mean average. But you can see here that nobody earns 1,200 a week. They're either on 500 or 4,000. This is because of this number. Okay, this number falls way outside the rest of the numbers, and this number has a specific name. It's what we call an outlier, because it lays outside the rest of the data. So we could use one of the other two averages, okay, because we can clearly see that this doesn't work. Okay, so even though we are talking in money and money is continuous, we can break it down. This number here will distort the averages. So you can see, and I may have confused you a little bit, but you can see that the application of averages depends on the situation and the data. Now the data usually will determine which average you use. Now the median is physically the middle number when they're written in order. So because I've got 5 numbers here, this is the middle number. So my median average would be 500. Okay, now that will be a good average to use here because we're looking at the middle number, so it ignores all outliers, whether they be very high or whether they be very low. Okay, now how do we use the mode? The mode is the number which occurs most often. So a number that repeats more than any other number. And again here we can see that 500 keeps repeating. So 500 would be our mode average, or sometimes it's written as the modal average. Okay, so averages are very simple to calculate. The mean is just arithmetic, the median is just the middle number, the mode is the most often, MO, the most often number that repeats. Okay, now we'll go through these separately, but I want you to be aware that in the exam they could ask you which average would you apply, or if you applied a certain average, would it be right or wrong? So from this you have to draw a conclusion, so you do need to know this. Okay, I really hope that I haven't confused you, but this is something that you do need to know.